Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, today, I wanted to discuss a very interesting theory, and this one, it's actually something it took me a while to come up with, and it was a lot of fun, and but this was something that was very interesting to me that I thought, and but I want to say this right now before I jump into this. I can't take all the credit because what sparked my idea here for this theory was a comment actually from a viewer. I hope I'm not butchering your name, Sorrel. It actually had to do with Sorrel's comment on the witch video, the Salem and witch, the origin of the name, where it could have possibly come from. So I want to give my thanks to you, Sorrel. And this will sound like a very interesting theory. It will sound very weird. Just let me know what you think about this theory down below. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this and let's get this started. So, obviously, as we know, Salem seems to be the biggest, antagonist of. So, as we know, Salem herself, she's the big antagonist of the series RWBY. She is the main antagonist. And, the thing that has made me think about certain things, maybe she's actually misunderstood. And it may seem that what she's doing could be a very evil thing, but maybe in truth, maybe she is actually a misunderstood character. And now here are my reasons and my logic behind all of this. So of course she has people that are following her, and each individual that seems to follow her, it's like she has told them the truth or advised them about Ozpin, because they all obviously know about Ozpin and they're all fighting as Ozpin for a certain reason. Each one of these individuals has their motive or their reason. I mean, well, more than likely, Tyrion himself, he could be a man for hire, could be a lot of different things. But, for a fact, we know Hazel for certain definitely had a motive behind it. And, looking at everything, maybe, Salem, even though she seems like this evil being, and of course, she has all this fear behind her presence, she actually, works upon having everybody understand her through fear because, if she's displeased with an individual, she seems to be fearsome to them. And Tyrion even referred to her as a goddess. Now, that can imply a lot of things. And if you look at it, she actually was able to encourage, Lionheart himself to actually go against Ozpin. Now, this could actually go upon knowledge that she may actually have on Ozpin, considering that they have been back to back fighting for, over 1,000 years. So maybe because of her knowledge and maybe because of also her power, that she is able to strike fear into others to work with her, because maybe she has to go about this in the wrong way to actually be good. And sometimes you have to take, it's been seen in some series you have to take a divergent road, a road that would be something people wouldn't agree with. And the interesting thing is, she is known as the Master of the Grim, and it's something I've referred to in the past about how she has a ring that could actually make her control the Grim. And that's actually something that's very interesting, because this very ring itself, we obviously haven't seen Salem do anything with her powers yet. We don't know what her capabilities could be, but this ring could actually be something that could actually have her have control over the Grim, and that could be why she is known as the Master of the Grim, because of this ring. And of course, as we know with Grimm, they are initially mindless and heedless of risk during their youth, so they are basically led to attack any humans on sight. But some Grimm over the years are so powerful, and they have survived for, say, of hundreds of years. In that time, they have evolved and learned that their experiences from fighting humanity has actually, helped them learn to restrain themselves and patience to avoid taking unnecessary casualties in futile conflicts. And we see that with the Goliath. That Grim doesn't just attack people on sight, but they wait for their opportunity. So maybe that is because Salem herself has mind control over the Grim. Maybe this is the possibility that she's trying to teach them, oh, hey, look, there's an individual. Well, let's try to patiently wait that out. And what's very interesting is maybe her methods of trying to control the Grim is her reasons for actually, trying to get the relics and to try to, get the maidens to unlock the relics, so that there can be a way of peace. Maybe she's trying to find peace so that the Grim cannot be hostile creatures anymore. Maybe she's actually good. Now, I'm not saying she is good. I'm saying that there could be a possibility, and maybe she's just misunderstood in her actions, and maybe this led on to problems. Now, of course, the other thing that we have to look at, because Salem herself, not just talking about her, but talking about Ozpin, here's the thing about Ozpin that seems very suspicious. Over time with Ozpin has kept secrets. he has been very untruthful within certain degrees. And it's very hard to rely or trust this said individual because Ozpin himself, he says that, of course, oh yeah, Salem is the actual evil, she is the threat. But Ozpin has done some pretty suspicious things over the years. And of course, as we learned recently, Ozpin, reincarnates. He is, somebody that's very different because every time he dies, he comes back constantly. And, and that's the thing that it seems like each time that he comes back, it's weird because if you look on it, everybody that worked with him in the past, they just called him Ozpin. Like in volume 1 through 3, each member that actually worked with him, yeah, they called him Ozpin. So it makes you think, that he completely pulls a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He is Mr. Hyde. He is the one who takes over said individual, and he makes things go within his way, and he tries to convince the people that what he's doing is good, when in reality, this could actually be completely misleading, and he could completely be throwing people under the bus just for his cause, and his cause may not be a justified one at all. And there are some interesting reasons that could actually pull through to kind of describe why his plans could be very odd. Because, of course, he created the maidens, which the maidens have the magical ability to unlock, I guess you could say, dimensions to the relics. Now, what's very interesting is Ozpin himself, he's used these maidens to try to, well, it was for protection more or less, like, to help, and but maybe it's a lie, because if we know about the song Divide, maidens and kingdoms wrapped up in a lie. Maybe this is actually something to think about because if you look at those lyrics, by Jeff Williams, it's interesting because maybe the maidens and kingdoms were completely in his lie. Maybe they are actually for the benefit of something evil and not good. Maybe it himself, maybe Ozpin actually has a destructive plan for the world, and maybe that's why Salem is opposing it. Maybe she knows that behind everything Ozpin has been telling everyone, maybe there is a destructive side of him. Maybe he really is secretly evil, and that he is obviously keeping this a secret, but he's trying to convince people that, oh, what I'm doing is good. I'm going to save the world. I'm actually a just cause, and what I'm doing is justified because I'm saying that what I'm doing is going to save the world. But in reality, what if it's actually just a ploy? Because something that's fishy and something that's very strange to me, it stands out to me, is the Brother Gods cursed Ozpin because he couldn't take down Salem. Now, considering that's coming from Ozpin, and we haven't heard it from any other source, this is something that's very weird as well, because there's always 2 points to a story. There's always 2 sides to a story. And everybody that's fighting Ozpin sees him, because Hazel himself even states that he is a monster. So, what if, in truth, this was actually cursing Ozpin for his evil deeds, and Salem may have actually been the good? What if it's reversed? Because each time, it's, obviously, this is going back to the reincarnation phase. Ozpin has come back, and it's like whenever it was stated that he became, head of Beacon, that he seemed like a prodigy, and that he actually, just, worked his way up because he seemed like he was so intelligent. Now, what's strange to me also is, how it says, when Salem and Ozpin talk, and how there's also the whole strength will not, bring victory in that speech, as well as in, Divide in that song. What's interesting to me is it's true. Strength is proven to not bring victory, and I think Pierre is the example of that. And how Ozpin works, he seems like he doesn't care about human life. It's like he builds these characters up, he creates huntsmen and huntresses, and they do become stronger, but it's like it doesn't seem like it's a cause, and they just die. Like, in Ozpin, if you look at Ozpin now, he, like I said, it's like he's trying to take over Oscar's body, in my opinion. I think it is becoming a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde scenario. I have thought this for a long time, and, the more that he fights, the more he tries to take control, and this could help him have a body that he could use to make his plans come into fruition, and then just throw Oscar away, throw him into the back of his mind, or just completely erase him from existence, and so that he could actually destroy things. I mean, he could lead everybody on to thinking, oh yeah, I'm building up these armies, when maybe the weird thing is maybe Ozpin's actually trying to kill humanity out himself. Maybe he is that evil individual, and by creating huntsmen and huntresses, maybe that's his whole plan. Now, I'm not saying that's the thing. I'm just saying, maybe just speculating, because it seems very odd, or that he could take control and just make his own army out of things. Interesting thing is, if we look back at Hazel, and within this volume, the thing is that Hazel, the reason why he's against Ozpin is his younger sister was killed because of a training mission when she was young, and apparently he states that she was a child. Now, of course, child could be a various range of ages, but that shows why Hazel's actually working against him and says that he's a monster for what he did. So this is actually very interesting to think. Now, if we actually think about the themes, like, some of the music, we need to look at Sacrifice for a minute. And I think that Sacrifice, yes, it is Cinder's theme, but I think a little bit of it has to do with Salem. And let me explain some of these very interesting lines that actually has to do with this. One of the things that really stands out to me is in the lyrics of Sacrifice by Jeff Williams is, show them gods and deities, blind and keep the people on their knees, pierce the sky, escape your fate. The more you try, the more you'll just breed hate. End lies, truth will rise, revealed by mirrored eyes. Now, of course, that's actually something very interesting, because by saying show them gods and deities, he is basically, Ozpin himself is basically defying the gods and what they did to him, that the punishment they threw upon him, basically stating that, okay, we're going to curse you for, your misdeeds. But it's strange because, if Salem was in the wrong, then why would he be the one being cursed? See, that's actually kind of something strange. But then also looking at this, blind and keep the people on their knees. See, so making, like when it comes to the people, he basically can blindside them and basically state that, oh, hey, look, I'm going to throw you all under the bus and make you all do exactly what I want, make you all believe what I want you to believe, which is actually very interesting. And Ozpin seems to try to cover up everything, or at least from what it seems like it may be. He may be trying to cover up things, and as well as the truth will finally come out, because, Raven herself states that she knows some of the truth. Hazel has been sitting here saying that he's a monster. Cinder knows something. Salem obviously knows everything. And if you look at Raven, she knows something as well, and it shows that the truth will eventually come out over time. But then if you look at Divide by Jeff Williams, then the second half of it, I mean, the whole song is, interesting in general, but the second half of that song, something very interesting comes out of this when it says, it was you who ended their lives, made them to dig their own graves, with your dark, sick, cruel design, convinced them the world could be saved. Now, just that alone right there really kind of tells you that Ozpin's still, he may actually be a very evil, manipulative kind of figure, and that he's actually, in truth, sending everyone to their death. It then goes on to say, have you no shame, signing them up for your word, train them to fight what they can't beat, your sins are what they'll pay for. Now, that shows yet again that everyone's going to basically die in vain for his sins, that their deaths are just really for his cause, that he just doesn't care that if they die, that as long as he gets what he wants, it doesn't seem to matter. And with the maidens and kingdoms wrapped up in a lie, it shows that Ozpin could be lying all along about certain things. And of course, between the conversation of Salem and Ozpin, another thing that we have to think about is, the statement of strength will not bring victory. That is actually true, and that it will be down to a purer, more honest soul. And that pure, more honest soul is definitely leading to RWBY, because that's exactly her character. Even Blake states herself that she sees purity within RWBY's character, which it's very interesting because if you recall back in Volume 4, Salem actually, chose to go after RWBY over the Spring Maiden first. That was her point with sending Tyrion after RWBY, was to not kill her, but to bring her to Salem. Now, of course, that probably means that Salem knows that Ozpin is putting his bets and hopes on RWBY at this point, because of the Silver Eyes, and this could pose the fear. This could pose the reason as to why, Salem fears the Silver Eyes, because they actually, oppose her in some way that we haven't seen yet, or some form. And now, this also leads to the whole mirrored eye statement back in Sacrifice. Mirrored eyes. If you look at Crow has revealed, some of it about the whole, brother deities and the whole aspect of that scenario of the relics and all of that. He has told us about that stuff, those stories that Ozpin had told him. So it shows that Ozpin told him that. But now this is where Raven actually comes into the equation, because the mirrored eyes, if you look at the emblems of both Crow and Raven, they both have what looks like a crow-like face. It's like and they both oppose each other. They're both opposites. And so where Raven actually comes in at this point is because she actually herself, she seems more like, in my opinion, an anti-hero because she's trying to fight both sides. And now this could lead to Salem not being good still. I mean, she could still be the biggest villain, but then again, Ozpin could also be a huge villain as well. And of course, within the finale, maybe Raven is going to reveal, something to Yang that can make her question Ozpin and show that Ozpin is not as good of an individual as she may believe, and that maybe Salem, maybe Salem's a little better, but maybe she's absolutely evil still. Who knows? But let me know what you think down below. I really do enjoy hearing from all of you, and I mean, this may sound like a crackpot theory, so but thank you all for listening. I do really appreciate it, and thank you all for watching and taking your time out of your day to watch this. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all had fun with this. And you all take care of yourselves. Hit this with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share it with your friends if you found this informative. But anyways, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. And if today wasn't a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care, everyone.